Hello and welcome to highlights from day 4 here at Henley Royal Regatta. As eyes turn towards the weekend and Sunday's prestigious finals, the stakes got higher. There were semi-final races for many events, including this one in the Y-fold. Earlier in the day, there was a classic between Dutch club De Hoop and London Rowing Club.
And we're at the start of the Y-fold Challenge Cup. De Hoop from the Netherlands up against London Rowing Club. They're still locked together as they're coming down past the steward's enclosure.
Yeah, Edward Marshall in the bow seat of the London crew. He's looking around almost every other stroke at the moment and they're just moving into the middle of the course. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see the umpire get involved here and just warn them. There we go. Fiona Dennis just thought about it and then saw that London were correcting, but Eduardo Marshall just looking either side. He knows that the momentum is with London. I think they're on the charge here.
Yeah, they'll have to stay on their steering here. You don't want any major corrections, not when you're this close. They need a straight line down to the finish. This crew is still locked together. You can hear the crowd. Too hard to call from this angle. It's going to come down to the dying strokes of this race. De Hoop moving across to the centre.
What a phenomenal contest. Literally nothing to choose between them. All the way down, it's going to be who gets it on the surge. The sprint is on. Little look over there from the Bowman Thies Tass in the De Hoop boat. There are, the rate is up. Coming together.
Bell, these crews are locked together. A blade crash. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Wow.
And of course we have a protest. Those boats coming together in the middle of the course in the dying strokes. The drama of that race. As both crews came into the line, clashing blades, and confirmation that the result of race 12 was London Rowing Club over De Hoop from the Netherlands.
It was a tough race. They pipped us off the start, took half a length, which admittedly we weren't expecting. I think we just stayed internal, trusted the race plan, got to the Forley marker, and I said to the boys, you know, let's put a push in, let's crack on, let's get a length. We knew our second half is the quickest on the course, so we just said, okay, trust yourselves, we'll move through. There's always a bit of trouble in the Y-folds. I mean, Cox's Ford's never an easy boat to steer. The boys, they kind of drifted across, I think. I mean, I thought I stayed on my station. I mean, I might have drifted. I haven't looked at the footage. But, you know, they just came across. The clash happened. You know, something which we've prepared for over the season.
Just a final few hundred meters, you go all out, nothing left. It just happened. Yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, we just gave it our best. Yeah, we got them. Next year we'll get them.
A high-octane race there, concluding with a thrilling win for London. With a strong headwind on the Thames, it was a gruelling morning. Fast crews, even record-breaking crews, struggled to keep pace.
Our first dabble with the Ladies Challenge Plate for intermediate eights, and I'm always fascinated by the composition of these crews. You've got there on the left-hand side Oxford University and Leander, arguably Great Britain's under-23 boat for the upcoming World Championships, and on the right, a Dutch development boat. As you say, it's Alamanna Protaus Aeritas with Scardi from the Netherlands, and pretty well matched at this stage, you have to say. And here we go, race of the morning so far.
And here we go in the British boat. Have they left their run too late? It takes a long time to get those eights up and moving if you're going to make a move. The Dutch are covering it as they're driving down to the line. This is incredibly tight. The British are moving, but have they run out of room?
Wow, what a race. Dutch courage all the way up towards the line. And I think they're going to do it.
Wow, what a race there. The Dutch crew just getting the British as they float past us here in the commentary box. Deerfield Academy, USA up against St Catherine's School, Australia. This is the Prince Philip Challenge Trophy. Blistering start there from the crew from St Catherine's. Wow, absolutely driving it out of the blocks. Here we ride with Deerfield Academy, USA.
They have the advantage. They've done everything they needed to do up to this point. They've got probably 20 or so strokes left to row in front of the enclosures. This has been a wonderfully well-measured race and contest from Deerfield, who now look like they're in an unassailable position.
a measured, strong performance here from Deerfield Academy, USA, as they're coming down to the line.
34 and moving away from St Catherine's.
What a race. Confirmation of that result in the Prince Philip. Deerfield Academy USA beating St Catherine's School Australia.
So we've got St Paul's on the Berkshire Station, Brisbane boys on the Buckingham Station. St Paul's have been the force to be reckoned with in this event over recent years.
Yeah, what a race this promises to be. Away they go off the start line. Temple Islands to the right-hand side. Brisbane Boys College from Australia want to get a good start on the current holders of this particular event.
This is a barnstormer, really is. Stroke for stroke, look at this. Stroke for stroke, and St Paul's, I think, might just be sneaking through now.
So
they've soaked up the pressure.
With the response that they needed. It's just going to be cat and mouse. It's going to ebb and flow all the way down the track here. Again, there's a response immediately from Brisbane boys who have nudged a quarter of a length ahead. Great tussle as we head towards the enclosures. Brisbane boys down. St Paul's School looking to try and retain their title. They'll be favourites if they win this one. Magnificent finish to the race from St Paul's. They've had to produce everything. They've had to dig deep, and through they go. St Paul's School through to the semi-finals of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. In the end, the Australians beaten comfortably, but that doesn't tell the story of the race at all. For three-quarters of the race, that was a humdinger.
The Island Challenge Cup has been keenly fought this week with some epic battles. Two British crews who've faced strong international opposition met in the morning in what was a grudge match between neighbouring universities.
Both these crews train alongside each other on the Tyne. So this is a much anticipated grudge match between these two crews.
Newcastle University A up against Durham University. Durham have managed to convert that fast start now into a really sustainable rhythm, and they're looking very dominant here through this middle section. Not quite the same synchronicity, Neil, with the Newcastle blades as we see here from Durham.
Yeah, still good cohesion in the Durham crew. Difficult to maintain in strong headwind, but they've maintained that cohesion really well, and that has helped continue to give them the advantage over Newcastle. It's synchronous, it's crisp, it's sharp. Really nice display in the headwind.
Another solid race here for Durham University as they're coming past the progress board and down towards the line. Confirmation in that round of the Island. Durham University beating Newcastle University A.
It was good fun. Nice to turn the tables on Boat Race to the North and have one last run against them this season.
Tell me about the race. Did it all go to plan?
Yep, we had a plan to race the barrier, race the Forley. We were very much blinkers on in our own game, and then kind of looked around at Forley and we'd done the job.
How much pressure was there coming in today, given the rivals you were up against?
Yeah, a fair amount of pressure. We knew there was a job to do, but nothing we couldn't handle.
And what kind of confidence does that give you looking into finals weekend?
We'll see. It's somewhere Durham women haven't been in a long time, so we're excited to get going.
So Durham continued to go from strength to strength in front of Henley's packed grandstands. Now, as the week has progressed, more and more elite rowers have got their Henley campaign underway. One such athlete's Great Britain's double Olympic champion Helen Glover. She drew in the crowds when she took to the course in the Town Challenge Cup.
And we've got some familiar names on the water right now.
Yes, perhaps most familiar among them will be Helen Glover, who's in the 3-seat of the Leander and Imperial College crew, of course, double Olympic gold medalist, there's clearly a gulf in class here, which is no great surprise given the talent in the Leander and IC boat. Basically what we've got here is a university crew against a top-class international crew.
International, yeah. But they look like a pretty well-organised crew as they cruise across the line at the end of that race. Well done to the GB4. McKenna, Long, Glover and Shorten safely through to the weekend of Henley Royal Regatta. That was, as expected, top quality performance. And the Americans battling away to get to the finish line, getting polite applause from the stewards' enclosure. Good sportsmanship. The Americans being encouraged over the line, but they know that they've been up against one of the very best there. And they are the GB4 waiting to receive them on the finish line. Good performance.
We had a comfortable win, but we're still in the early rounds, so we're definitely not going to feel too comfortable just yet. We've got hopefully 2 more days of racing where I'm sure it will get closer and closer, but yeah, it was a good fun race. It felt amazing, you know, it's a really unique opportunity for us kind of who spend most of our life as international rowers and don't get the same kind of crowds and noise and atmosphere, and so just to see so many people and hear so many shouts, it's incredible.
Henley Royal Regatta isn't just the world's most prestigious rowing meet, it is also a firm fixture on the British social calendar. It's a chance to dress up, wear your best, sometimes your brightest attire. To tell us more, here is Henley steward Sir Matthew Pinsent.
Henley as an event is an absolute blizzard of colour. You've got the blue and white that are the traditional stripes of the regatta infrastructure. Then you've got the boats, which could be any colours, you know, sort of whites and blues and yellows. But the most colourful thing is the spectators and the supporters. Everybody puts on rowing blazers, and there's a sort of proud tradition of rowing blazers at Henley. Everyone has club colours or school colours or university colours. There are some amazing stories about the blazers, particularly the Dutch blazers, where when you get to the crew, you get given and you inherit a blazer. It isn't yours to keep forever. You get to wear it for as long as you row in that crew, and if it makes a trip to Henley, it comes with you, and then you hand it on when you lose your place in that crew. That blazer carries on and has a whole history all of its own. Others are perhaps a bit more presentable, you know, perhaps you wouldn't have rips and holes in them, but everybody wears their colours of school and university. If you've got an Olympic blazer, this is the moment to dust it off and just check you still fit in it, which is becoming a battle. And then ties are a whole other challenge with how many ties you might want to wear in a day. You know, for some people it turns into the Oscars and they want to have costume changes every hour or two. But it's a real chance for the Henley people to express themselves. Have been supporting the crews out on the water, and when you're racing out there, there's nothing better than a great big posse as you row past of your club colours all cheering you on. That really gives you a lift.
And that support and colour no brighter than here in the stewards' enclosure. They were certainly given something to cheer about in the early afternoon with key clashes in the Princess Elizabeth and Princess Royal Challenge Cup.
Eights again, and this time it's the turn of the junior men. It's the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. This one's been running since 1946, and we've got Shiplake College, local crew on the far station, and all the way from the West Coast, Marin Rowing Association, USA. Well, it's critical time for Marin, and actually they've done really well. As you said, Jackson Top of the Cox there is calling the men through, and a really coherent push here. Remember, this Marin crew, we've seen them through the week, have got 2 sets of brothers in the bow pair, Back and Hugh Ryan, and in the middle of the boat, Ryan Jorgensen, and at stroke, Travis Jorgensen. So there's some cohesion that goes there from having those siblings through the boat, and that bravery that we'd seen from them before really coming through now. They really are moving. So I think very mature from Shiplake. They kind of contained that pause by just holding, not doing anything crazy, and then they've just pushed away steadily at their own rhythm, really commanding and wise control. And we've seen stroke Luke Beaker there has been really mature throughout this regatta, and that's great reflection on the way that team works together. Towards the line, the last 5 or 6 strokes, a final push from the men from Marin, but today it's the stripes of Shiplake that take them through to the semi-finals of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. Huge effort from both crews. Really an amazing, strong junior men's race. We have the Polish sculler from Whistler, Marta Wieliczko, and on the right of our picture from the University of London, Georgina Robinson-Ranger.
And wow, Georgina Robinson-Ranger has taken it to the very experienced Olympian Polish sculler here, just as she yesterday took it to her German opponent.
It's pretty hard to unsettle somebody with that degree of experience. And at the 3/4 mile, we can see she's probably got about a length or so over Georgina Robinson-Ranger in the distinctive purple from University of London.
It's pretty bouncy out there, so I think all of the scullers are sort of looking to find that rhythm where you can actually kind of try and relax a little, because this water is quite punishing, and even in the quads, we've like some of them finding it a little difficult to steer this afternoon. I mean, this is still close. Certainly, Georgina Robinson-Ranger is not going to give up, and you know, yesterday fought the whole way with Marie-Sophie Zeitler, and you know, again, she can sense that she's really close to Marta.
Has she got that final gear? Here comes the purple from University of London. Georgina Robinson-Ranger pushing and pushing, but Marta Wieliczko stays in command, stays cool. That experience of an Olympian, of a world champion in the single. Well, she's just about managed to keep ahead, but she stops just before the line. That's a sign of a very good, very tough single sculls race. Amazing.
So Georgie Robinson-Ranger unable to follow up on her fantastic Thursday result. However, with a jam-packed schedule of races, there was plenty of opportunity for others to progress through to semi-final Saturday. Thames B faced off with De Hoop in the Thames Challenge Cup.
Fighting back with everything they can in true Thames style. They want a race, they want to be in a race, so they are just asking some questions to keep the Dutch honest and make sure they don't get an easy ride through this.
Was there a moment of complacency there for the Dutch, and they just let Thames have a sniff? And my goodness, Thames, you don't want to give that club a sniff of a race like this. Here go Thames, coming up into the last 15 strokes or so. They've got to have a real go here, Kath. Will the De Hoop guys respond? Well, they pushed up too. It's Thames and De Hoop, but De Hoop are going to take it across the line. They go through to the semi-finals of the Thames Challenge Cup tomorrow. And, well, Thames B, what an effort pushing them at the end there. Love that, rising to the challenge.
Temple Challenge Cup holders Oxford Brookes took on Harvard University.
Nice clean out of the finishes, coming past the enclosures, and Harvard are battling all the way though, Kath.
Oh yeah, they're putting in the final sprints. They have to do that. A quick look across from the bowman there to see can they get close at Joshua Brangan, but they can barely see the stern of the Oxford Brookes crew. They're going again, they're lifting it again, they're having another go. Oxford Brookes are watching them, matching everything all the way. Harvard are coming again, they're going to lift. It's not going to be enough.
So Oxford Brookes come through to the finish, just about 2/3 of a length ahead of their opponents from Boston, Harvard University.
And in the Fawley, there was a classic comeback where Hinksey Sculling School had been down at the barrier and at Fawley before coming back to beat Sydney Rowing Club.
And they're coming slowly, metre by metre. The Oxford School are taking on the might of Sydney Rowing Club. I thought this was a done deal in the middle of the race. I apologise to Hinksey for that, but Hinksey move. They are coming up to the finish. Sydney move again. They're going close to the boom. Sydney. Oh, it's Hinksey. I think they're going to lead just across the line. The Oxford School, have they done it? They crossed the line. Yes, Hinksey. It's a famous victory ahead of Sydney Rowing Club. That is a sensational result.
The mighty Thames Rowing Club have been a force here for many years, and heading into the fourth day, they still had a strong contingent of 12 crews with 77 athletes. With 4 boats in the Wargrave quarterfinals, let's see how Thames B got on against Thames C.
So the C crew is the one closest to it, it's number 80, and you've got the B crew on the far side. And Thames Rowing Club dominating the last 8 of this competition. Also, we've got the B and C crew racing here, and we've got the A and D crew racing 50 minutes later. Yeah, they're one of the largest and probably most successful rowing clubs in the UK, and their dominance is showing in this event.
I think the B crew is slightly broken. They caught that slight crab when you catch the water a little bit, and I think they've actually slipped the C crew slightly. They've got one little sniff of their bow ball ahead, and I think you can see here they look like they're trucking.
Yeah, the B crew looks just that slightly a little bit more composed, and they're rowing a little bit longer now. The water conditions slightly better on the Berkshire bank, so the right-hand side as we look at it at the moment. I think they're squeezing into a little bit of a lead, but still really, really close. See what the C crew can do, see if they've got an extra gear as they come down towards the finish.
They spent all their pennies and they used up all their beans. It appears so as they're coming down towards the enclosures. They are absolutely hurtling towards them as an commentary box. And the B crew, under all that pressure, have held their heads and they're eking out to almost a length as they have strokes left of this Wargrave Challenge Cup Thames C versus Thames B. We're trying to get across the line. There you see it. Thames B took it by just 3/4 of a length, I'll call it, to Thames C. What a cracking race in the Wargrave Challenge Cup.
It was really good, really gutsy race. We went out and executed exactly what we discussed earlier on in the day, and it was really good fun to race our C boat as well.
I think it's just testament to this squad that we're a part of. It's been nerve-wracking all week to know we're going to face them because we know how strong they are, but it was also really fun to just go out and celebrate Thames as a squad and show how strong, Thames is.
So many fantastic races across Friday's schedule, and the action kept on coming late into the evening.
And you're joining us for the Wargrave Challenge Cup Women's Club A. You see Tyne Amateur Rowing Club at the top of your screen, Christiana Row Club Norway on the right-hand side of your screen with the blue blades.
The form book would suggest that Christiania, as they're a selected crew, well, you could be favoured here, but Tyne absolutely having none of that. The crew's neck and neck as they go up the island, and now further down the course as we're playing catch-up. Just short of halfway, but only by about 20, 30 metres or so. Very close still.
You can see the bow seat with the big CR on the back. Emilia Tamberplas, Nordic champion, under-19 Cox 4s. So this crew's actually got quite a lot of experience. As you look down their list, they've got lots of medals nationally and some of them even internationally. So don't be fooled by that. They've come across from Norway. We don't hear much women's sweep in Norway. I've never raced one myself. I've probably never seen a women's 8 from Norway, but they're an experienced crew. As we see the powering back there of Anna Coley, the bow seat of the Tyne. Look at this race. They're not letting them go. Neither crew is broken.
It's close now, really, really close. If anything, Tyne is squeezed. I think it's deceptive, isn't it? But it's neck and neck at the moment in the last maybe 15 strokes.
Tyne are moving, Jim. They've absolutely just moved and they've just squeezed past. They're going to shout a bow ball. I think Duck's going to move out of the way. Look at that. I think Tyne, they've broken them. They've moved through Christiana Row Club. What a response as they came into the enclosures. Would you even imagine it? I'd not seen it. I thought that Christiana Row Club had got it, but Tyne had a little sparkle in their eye. How are the lads? They had a go for it, and they absolutely have torn these last 200 metres apart. What a finish!
They just wanted it more, didn't you? You can see the last 200 metres, they just had that extra gear. They went for it. They were right next to the bank. All the people applauded. You could hear the noise in the background. Wow, a great finish to that race.
They can barely believe it. They're clapping their hands, and that is a win for Tyne Amateur Rowing Club in the Wargrave Challenge Cup over Christiana Row Club Norway.
With the iconic sight of a Lancaster overhead, weekday racing was done here at Henley Royal Regatta. Some crews have already secured their ticket to finals day, but for most, there's one more hurdle to overcome on semi-final Saturday. It's all set to be another cracker. I hope you can join us. We'll see you then.